And what in heaven's name brought you to Casablanca?
My health. I came to Casablanca for the waters.
The waters? What waters? We're in the desert.
I was misinformed.
He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
You're tearing me apart!
What?
You say one thing, he says another, and everybody changes back again!
Time for Full Court Press with Connor. He has hot takes from In the Paint, tough picks from the top of the key, and the best scoops on the NBA from downtown.
We've got him, Connor's Full Court Press. We're going to talk basketball in a second. Con, how you doing?
Not too bad, Al. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. No, our pleasure. We got the big game tonight. We'll talk about that, bust it down. But Paul came on just before you did, and he brought up we chatted about an interesting topic. I'd like to know where you're at on it. So Paul played in a band last weekend, saw a mutual friend, and he goes to me and he says, hey, she said to say hello. And, of course, my response is, next time you see her, tell her you said hello. And he goes, I already did. He spoke up for, Now,
hold on a second. So this lady came up to him and said, tell Al hello. And he said, yeah, he says hi.
Yeah, it's a mutual friend. We would have expected them all to be at this thing. So Paul spoke up for me. He said, oh, Al said to say hi.
But don't you think she would know that you didn't obviously say that because he just talked to her? You following me?
He was playing in a band at Neeson's, and the regular crowd comes around. And he talks with me every week. And so he's, Al said to say hi too. It was like a reflex thing. And this is where I come to you. How long you been married? You're relatively newly married. How long?
Yeah, I'll be married 4 years in September.
All right. You and the wife, you're out there doing a thing, playing a golf tournament, whatever. Mutual friend comes in. Oh, be sure to say hello to the wife. You go, you bet I will. Do you? Do you go home and say, oh, by the way, whatever said,
I had no idea where this was going at all.
And then do you ever do the my wife said hi to you thing, even though she really didn't, but it would make a nice starter line. Oh, by the way, my wife, she
it's
says
kind of like, hey, how you doing? You go, oh, great, how are you? You don't even think
you don't really
great. How often are you really great? Seriously, how often is the average person great? They're not, okay? They're not. In this economy, come on.
Well, now you've taken it down a bad road. But that reflexive lying, like you're saying, you want to say great, or the wife says hi, to start a conversation with somebody she knows, even though she's never said it, that's a lie? Is it a bad lie? I mean, there maybe does this make me look chubby when I ask my wife and she says, no, you're fine, and I know she's lying? But it's nice thing.
This is a philosophical question.
Yes.
Is it ever okay to lie? Interesting.
My wife lies to me. She knows because it's just going down a rabbit hole I don't want. I shouldn't ask questions that I shouldn't. And she lies. No, that looks good. Okay. I know it doesn't.
Yeah.
You're not going to answer the question.
At least
it's because you're newly married. Yeah.
I'm hung up on you didn't expect to see this person. They said, oh, say so-and-so says hi. And then you go, yeah, they said hi. And I'm like, how would that even, I would completely go, I'd give you a side eye. Like, what? How is that possible? How would you?
Because whatever, I've been married 100 years now. You go to a party where you're going to meet mutual friends. Oh, to say hi to Steph. And I say, oh, yeah, she said to say hi. It's like on our way out, she told me to say hi to everybody she might know. Like it's a get out of jail free card so I can have something to say while I'm trying to think of the person's name in my head. It's a thing you do. It is. Why are you shaking your head?
Maybe like an old person thing. I don't know.
Oh, that hurt.
Young people just text each other, from across the room.
It's my wife said hi.
RFLOL, TTYL. How are you? And you just go, okay. LOL back. Yeah.
See, and this is where my friendship with Paul for over 50 years grants him the right to do that. Much like my wife, I'm sure, does it as well. Do you have any friend in your circle of however many that are allowed to fill that gap with you?
I appreciate that you expect or would assume that I have friends. That's very nice of you.
Well, especially that old age comment. Probably not as many as I'd think.
No. No friends on my end. So I don't. Not a situation.
Let's talk some basketball. You're no fun. You're no fun at all. I would have lost all my lunch money on this NBA Finals already.
Yep.
Now, I would have given you Pacers will take one, everybody gets a game, and the Thunder would be off a game. I don't know that I can say that anymore. The Pacers have figured something out. Give me your 5,000-foot view
How many
down.
times do they have to prove to us that they know how to play basketball at a high level? And really, just over and over again. And it always.
But it
seems-
isn't that. They're a great team. But the Thunder are a very great team.
Every challenge, the next challenge, and the next challenge, and the next challenge is like, well, this is the one where they run out of gas. This is the one where they play the team that's just too good, and they just keep beating them. I mean, this is we got some things to talk about, but if I'm the Thunder, I'm getting a little nervous.
Are you really? Do they take it that way? This last game was not necessarily a beatdown, but they won by 10 or 15 points. It was pretty close, about 4 or 5 minutes left. If you're the coach, give me your Pacers conversation. This guy's obviously a great coach. I'm going to be honest. Now, you also give coaches 5 days in between games, and you bust down every play, every person, everything. I think you get better coaching. But this Pacers coach is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I mean the sort of honestly if there's an advantage and the disadvantage of being the objectively worst team on paper, coach gets to go in there and say that. What do you guys have to lose? Why not give it everything you got? Don't take plays off. It's a lot easier for the team that's clearly the underdog. One of the I think the seventh going into the finals, they were the seventh biggest underdog ever, something like that. That's a kind of a weird stat that's almost not that astounding, but I mean underdog of underdogs. And if you're Oklahoma City, it's like, okay guys, just don't screw this up. Well, it's a lot harder to grip onto that, I think, as a player. And like you said, as much as it's time in between games and what are they throwing at you, this is also a 7-game series against the same team, and a team that you've seen, a handful of times in the season, and a team that's kind of rocked everybody. So, I mean, the stats,
but
the film's out there.
Let me throw this at you, though. So the Pacers coach finds something because SGA, he goes out and scores 36, 35 in the first 2 games. They cut him to 24 in the loss, and I don't know how many turnovers, 6, 7 turnovers. I mean, it's not his thing. They changed something. They figured something out, because those 12 points would have made the difference. And the others are the Pacers bench, I think, went off for 49.
Yeah.
And Thunder, 18 or something like that. So somewhere it got changed, because these are great ball players. Like you say, they're the same team every night. Somebody figured something out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to give credit to the Pacers. The series has basically been the Pacers stole one on a last-second buzzer beater, came back at the end of the game. They shouldn't have, made a bunch of threes, came back from a bunch, and 1 by 1. Well, we talked about it. Here comes a beatdown, and here came the beatdown.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City won by 20-something points, just absolutely clobbered them. And this was a game where it's like, well, who knows where it's going to go? And it was back and forth. Each quarter went one way or went the other. And the Pacers, like you said, just played much deeper than Oklahoma City did. The bench was fantastic. The starters were efficient. And Oklahoma City leaned into kind of what they lean into in Gilgeous-Alexander a little bit, but he just didn't have it. And that's going to happen.
So the Pacers coaching is easier because you're the underdog. You want to be underdogs, get out there and fight for it. I get that. Put your OKC hat on, because here I am. You want to be the biggest laughingstock in the NBA? You want to be the best team in the NBA with 85 wins, and you're going to screw it up with a number 4 or 5 seed? You're going to do that? I know it's hard. Do you go negative as a coach? Can you do that with the best players
tough.
in the
I
world?
think that somewhat has it depends on the personality of the players. These guys are all pretty young also. So, you don't want to, if they don't see that and go, oh, I've had a coach like that before. And, I turn that into a positive and a motivation. All of a sudden they're almost, they're probably having some negative speak, and now the coach is out loud yelling at you. I think more so probably my approach would be, guys, let's bury these guys. Let's have the greatest season Oklahoma City's ever had. Let's absolutely humiliate these guys. Let's win by 40 points a game. Now, it just depends on what the players buy into, right? Because if the personalities are just it is what it is. In the media, the players are going to continue to say, we're good, we're not worried about it. Of course they are. But you can't lose to a 5th seed out of the East and not be a little bit like, what's going on here? What are we doing wrong?
You've spent your time telling me the West is 10 times better than the East. And this is the 5th seed coming out of the East, and they're doing this to everybody. So maybe are we possibly wrong with our evaluation of the East?
Well, I mean, I think we're super right and a little bit wrong. Basically the best teams in the
Can
East,
I have it both ways? Oh, by the way, my wife said hello.
I'm gonna. the East, clearly the juggernauts of the East got clobbered. So on the one hand, the best teams of the best in the East couldn't hold a candle. On the other hand, the team that beat them is holding a candle. So it's a kind of a goofy deal. At the end of the day, the Pacers simply clicked as a team and clicked at the right time. And it's a matter of if Oklahoma City has enough firepower to kind of withstand that resistance.
All right, let's do this. Let's go to break. We'll talk a little bit more about the game predictions coming up here with Connor. We'll do that right after this on the Al Travis Show.
There are many ways to explore Alexandria. Some like to experience the outdoors and all the fun winter in Minnesota can provide. Pick your favorite way to get in touch with nature. Others like to explore downtown in the warm comfort of a boutique or gathered around a table with friends. You can do all of that or relax and do nothing at all. Come explore Alexandria. Start planning at explorealex.com.
You know that car sound that sounds like a cricket playing a banjo? Jay's can fix that. You know when you step on the brakes and your car sounds like a pair of tennis shoes in the dryer? Paul is a guy who specializes in that. And you know that sound that never happens when the mechanic's around? Paul took a whole course on that. If you own a car, you need to know Paul. Paul owns Jay's Auto Shop, 202 North Main Street, Blue Earth, 525-1052, 525-1052.
As in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
So walk me through it, Connor. Connor's full court press. The must win now falls on the Thunder, right? Tonight's game, they have to win because no one wins going down 3-1 or something. It's like, it's impossible. No, it isn't mathematically, but
it's happened twice, I think. Yep.
Okay. But I say it isn't even a squeaker win. I believe Thunder needs to, even, I can't believe I'm calling for this because they're down 2-1 and playing it. I think they have to have a smackdown today. The Thunder have to have that 20-25 point win saying, hey, got out of hand. We're still in charge here, in which case then they have to win 2 out of 3, but they're at home.
Yep.
You lose this and you got to win 3 straight no matter what.
That's exactly the situation and exactly what I would expect will happen.
Okay.
Basically, it's just like after game 1 when the Pacers stole one. Expect the Thunder to be very focused and very aggressive and very angry that they are now down 2-1 in the series. They're looking to regain home court advantage, like you said, and the Pacers will scrap. But this is where you're going to see, I think this game might even be a series determiner because if Oklahoma City doesn't have the firepower to overcome that adversity and win in Indiana tonight, things could look really, really not good for Oklahoma City.
It could be crazy because then you got Monday and you won't be here Monday. Again, you're going to go with what? Who wins in how long? Because I'll get you back here by next Friday, but we got 2 more games. It could be over in those 2 games.
Oklahoma City by 28 tonight. Oklahoma City by 10 when they go back to Oklahoma City on Monday. I think we're at 3-2 here, or 3-2 when we get back together for sure.
All right, let me ask you this: the coaching search for the Knicks is going nowhere in a heartbeat. A lot of teams say, "No, you can't talk to our coach. We're not doing this stuff." How bad did the Knicks mess up? Is he so bad you got to get rid of him? You can't find somebody. You can find a college coach. What's going to happen in the Knicks?
Yeah, the name that I like seeing is Mike Brown, who coached the Warriors back in the day ahead of Steve Kerr. Steve Curry's been in the media for a long time since, and some assistant coaching jobs and things. I like, there's definitely good names out there. The Knicks, this is kind of how the head coaching situation goes in the NBA sometimes. A lot of kind of strange timing. Again, we keep bringing up Denver firing their coach 3 days before the playoffs. It often seems like a strangely timed thing, or even a peculiar reasoning thing. And often it's because they're trying to get a fresh ideas in there, at a certain time. The Knicks now don't have necessarily a rush to go and make this happen immediately. They don't need to overpay, and they don't need to rush and find someone who's maybe not a fit. I think Thibodeau was clearly too hard on the players, or the players, weren't responding to him, and obviously they fumbled.
Because they just won 50 games and got to the conference finals. That's how bad he was. I don't. But here's why they got a rush, Connor. Because the other thing we're going to talk about is KD is out there now. That is not even official rumors. He's out there talking to about 4 teams. The Wolves are one of them, and so are the Knicks. Well, I'm sorry. There's no way in the world KD is going to go to the Knicks if he doesn't know who the coach is. I mean, the guy comes in, he's a knucklehead. He doesn't like tall, skinny guys. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You're taking yourself out of that mix if you're the Knicks because you don't have a coach in place. And where do you think he goes? Does he? I know he likes Ant, but is that enough? Because the Ant can't.
Well, yeah. So the teams that I've seen thrown around are the New York Knicks, Minnesota Timberwolves, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat decision would be simply let's go be on vacation until we're retired.
Dude, I was gonna say what enlightens him?
That is a glamour. He'll get paid and everything, but it's a glamour. I'm gonna lay on the beach. That is not a hey, I'm gonna go become competitive. Now add Kevin Durant to any team, and it's gonna be helpful. But Minnesota's an interesting dark horse. He really likes Anthony Edwards. He is Anthony Edwards' favorite player, or was growing up. And they've got a little bit of a friendship rivalry. I think there's a little mentorship going on there. Yeah. Now you got to weigh: if you're KD, do you think you have a better chance of winning in Minnesota, or do you think you have a better chance of winning in New York? I actually think that's kind of a tough call. To your point, maybe the scale gets tipped by head coaching confusion. I also think it'd be interesting to see him in San Antonio with Fox and Wemby. That could be a cool combo. But again, are you going to, if you're Kevin Durant, are you going to go to a team that was whatever we were, bottom 4 in the league?
Yeah.
That's tough too. So I'm very surprised Golden State's not in that running, but they aren't at this point. And if I'm a betting person, I think New York's probable. But I think you're right. I think the biggest thing that's holding that back is the coaching situation. So in that way, the timing probably was not ideal for New York. They could have. I think
Minnesota has some parts to move as well that are interesting. You can get rid of Rudy Gobert. You need a tall guy over there. Fine. We can also get you that Dillingham guy for a little point guard action. He's good. Maybe, we don't have a lot of picks left, but I think we can sweeten the pot enough to make it worth his while. But if we get Durant, I only have 40 seconds. If we get Durant, we have about a 2-year window? You either win it or you don't? Because he doesn't have much in the tank.
I think there's a good chance Julius Randle has to be a part of that conversation also, although maybe Rudy's enough. Rudy plus, like you said, plus a younger, sophomore, rookie and some picks. Maybe that's what gets it done. Kevin is older, so, you're going to get him on a discount. Hopefully we don't leverage the entire future for a guy that's only got a couple years left.
It is only a couple years, though. Hey, Con, appreciate you being here, my friend. Thank you very much. I guess I can only say, go OKC. That's everyone's picking them. They got a 6.5-point advantage according to the polls. I got to watch the game. This is going to be a great game tonight.
Yeah, I'd love to see the Pacers win, but I think it's going to be a battle.
All right, my friend. Connor, Full Court Press on the Al Travis Show.